Howdy everybody. So I had a real good visit on the phone earlier with my buddy Mr. Jake Worthington, and we got to talking a little bit about how the business had changed, especially since COVID, and just in general how it had changed as far as the Texas red dirt scene in the last 20 years. Got to telling a few old war stories about the road. And so I decided I'd get on and share one with y'all. See, hopefully y'all enjoy it. I remember one time, I would think this is probably around 2004, because it was with Kevin Fowler, and I know at that time Kevin was on Equity Records, and we were doing a radio tour. I believe it's for Loose Light and Crazy Record. They had us going to some weighted major market stations over in Tennessee and back over east that direction. So I remember we started in Nashville and we bounced around there through several towns like Chattanooga and Knoxville and so forth. But I remember Knoxville because that's where we ended up. The bus left us there and headed on back to Galveston, and we took a couple of rental vans on over to Columbia, South Carolina. That was on a Thursday, had a travel day, and then on Friday we had a show there in Columbia, a club date that night. And I'm sure we got to the hotel and got to bed maybe 2:30 in the morning, something like that. And we had to be up at 5 a.m., get back over to the airport and get the rental vans dropped off and get all of our gear and luggage checked in. We had a 7:30 flight that morning. When we got there, the airport was completely abandoned. I mean, it was open, but there were no flights overnight, and it was just a ghost town. And we went in and did like we normally did. We started doing the self check-in and tagging our stuff, and generally we would then just request them to look in our cases and look at our instruments while we're present and watching them, and then after they check the cases, they'll let you put security tape over your latches so that way you know if it's been tampered with. But that particular morning, for whatever reason, that didn't work out that way, and once they opened the counter at 7 a.m. The lady looked at us. We were first in line, and she said, "Are y'all a band or something?" And we said, "Yes, ma'am, we are." She said, "Well, I've got to check all this stuff. Go ahead and start tearing those tags off." So we knew then we were in trouble, and we began tearing the tags off. And as each one of us would get something checked and get our license back, we just start running as fast as we could, get into this mile-long line to get through security. Thankfully, they held the plane for us, and I think we took off about 15 minutes late that morning. From there, we flew to Chicago O'Hare. We changed planes at Chicago, actually in a snowstorm, and it was in April too. It was kind of a freak deal. It wasn't really snow; it was just kind of slushy sleet. But I do remember having to debark the plane on the tarmac, and I was in shorts and it was cold. But from there, we flew commercial onto Dallas. When we got to Dallas, we were picked up by runners, 16 passenger vans. We got hauled over to the Smirnoff Center there by the State Fairgrounds in Dallas. And we did a show, a 6 o'clock set there on one of the Pat Green and Friends big package festival shows. And we got off stage at 7. We had enough time to grab a quick bite of catering. Back in the vans, back over to Love Field, to the Business Jet Center. And while we were waiting on our plane, we got to say hello to Jerry Jones, who landed in his Gulfstream and was debarked and was getting in his vehicle. We also saw a 747 with the coat of arms of Saudi Arabia, and it said Saudi Arabia on the side of it. And we were told that that was the Crown Prince, I guess, of Saudi Arabia, who was flying in to meet President Bush that weekend down at Crawford at the ranch. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And I spoke with an older employee there who, and I asking him, where we were in relation to where President Kennedy debarked Air Force One in 1963, and he said that this is it. And he pointed out we were on the actual tarmac where the motorcade started that day in Dallas, which I thought was really interesting. But from there, we got into a chartered Learjet, took a 26-minute flight from Dallas to Galveston Island. We landed on a little private airstrip there in Galveston, loaded into vans, went across the causeway onto the mainland, over to Hitchcock, Santa Fe there for the Galveston County Fair. And I believe we went on there about 11 o'clock that night. So that was a pretty long day, and not uncommon in those days for us. We worked a lot. Like I said, I just thought I'd share a little road story with y'all and see what you think. But hope y'all enjoyed it. See you next time.